I never imagined I'd be that man, alone in his car at 3 in the morning, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing holding him together, trying to make sense of how a marriage he believed would last forever had just ended. But that's exactly where I ended up, shattered by a single revelation that turned my entire world upside down. Before I take you to the moment everything unraveled, let me start with this. If something feels wrong in your relationship, don't push that feeling aside. Don't convince yourself you're overthinking when deep down your heart is begging you to pay attention. That voice inside you, it doesn't lie. It may hurt, but it tells the truth. Emma and I had spent more than 20 years building a life side by side. We met when we were young, some would argue too young, but it seemed to work, at least on the surface. Ours was a relationship full of memories, spontaneous late-night drives, birthdays that evolved into family rituals, and 2 beautiful children we brought into the world together. We were the couple others admired, the ones people said had it figured out. That's real love, they'd say. But love, real, lasting love, doesn't vanish in an instant. It wears away slowly, like water seeping through cracks you don't notice until everything caves in. Looking back, I see the signs were always there. I just chose not to acknowledge them. Emma had always had this magnetic presence, the kind that made a room feel warmer just because she was in it. I used to watch her from across crowded rooms, thinking how lucky I was. But something shifted in the final stretch of our marriage. Her glow hadn't disappeared, but it stopped reaching me. At first, it was little things. She seemed glued to her phone, laughing at messages she didn't care to explain. She suddenly had evening work dinners, events she used to avoid like the plague. When I asked about them, she'd flash me that familiar, reassuring smile and say, "You're just reading too much into it, Ben. I'd never hurt you." And I believed her, because for 2 decades, she never gave me a reason not to. Then came the night that changed everything. She told me she was going to a farewell party for a colleague. I was in the living room, folding laundry and half watching a movie when she came downstairs wearing a dress I hadn't seen in ages. A deep navy blue, form-fitting, one she used to save for our date nights. She looked stunning, but something about it felt off. "You look amazing," I told her. She smiled. "Thanks. Don't wait up." Those 3 words felt heavier than they should have. Somewhere inside me, I already sensed the truth. She didn't walk through the door again until nearly 2 in the morning. Her explanation was smooth, practiced even. We ended up going to a rooftop bar after dinner. I didn't realize how late it had gotten. I nodded and said it was okay, but something inside me cracked in that moment. A few days later, while she was in the shower, I broke a promise I'd made to myself. I picked up her phone. I wasn't hunting for betrayal, but I found it anyway. There was a message thread with someone named Alex. It wasn't just flirtation, it was personal, intimate. They talked about dreams, desires, even fears, things she hadn't shared with me in years. Then there was one message that knocked the air from my lungs. "Last night felt right. I wish we didn't have to hide this anymore." I remember staring at those words, my hands trembling, a lump in my throat so thick I could barely breathe. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the realization that the life I believed in, the love I'd trusted, it had all been a facade. She stepped out of the bathroom, towel around her hair, smiling like everything was fine. I couldn't hold it in. I showed her the messages. "Who is Alex?" She froze. And for the first time in years, I saw fear in her eyes. Not fear of me. Fear of the truth finally being exposed. She sat down on the bed, her voice soft, almost inaudible. "It was a mistake, Ben. Just one night. It didn't mean anything." It's strange how often people say that, like pretending it meant nothing will somehow ease the blow. I asked how long it had been going on. She insisted it was only that one night. She said she regretted it, that she still loved me, and maybe she did. But love can't survive a betrayal like that. Not when it slips into your home, your bed, your memories, violating everything you thought was sacred. I didn't yell. I didn't raise my voice. I just sat there, looking at the woman I thought I knew, realizing I didn't know her at all. The next morning, I packed a bag and left. I didn't explain it to the kids right away. I simply said, "Dad needs a little time." For the first time in my life, I checked into a hotel with no destination beyond that room. Just me, my thoughts, and the crushing weight of heartbreak. Emma tried to mend it. She called, sent emails, tucked handwritten notes into my luggage. One letter read, "We've been through so much. Don't let one mistake erase everything we've built." But it wasn't just one mistake. It was every lie she told afterward. Every smile that masked a truth. Every quiet moment when she could have chosen honesty and instead turned to someone else. I considered forgiving her. I really did. But I came to understand something vital. I'd never trust her again. And without trust, marriage becomes a hollow shell of what it once was. The divorce happened without drama. No fights. No yelling. Just two people in a room, signing away the future they once dreamed of. In the months that followed, I focused on piecing myself back together. Not just my life, but who I was beneath it all. I returned to the gym. I dusted off my camera. I reached out to old friends. I began writing again, journals, short stories, reflections I never had time for before. Funny how heartbreak makes room for rediscovery. Emma and I still speak for the kids, mostly. And in the silence of certain nights, I sometimes wonder what might have been. But then I remember that moment, her eyes full of guilt, my chest full of fractures, and I know I did the right thing. Sometimes, the most courageous act isn't staying to fix what's broken. It's choosing to walk away so you can finally learn how to breathe again. If you're reading this and find yourself stuck in the uncertainty, questioning your instincts, don't ignore them. Your peace matters. Your trust matters. And more than anything, you deserve a love that's real. A love that's honest.